Hello everyone, today I'm going to be reading to you realmario7.txt. This is all of Real Mario 7's rants. I've been thinking of doing this for a while, but I figured now is the best time to do it due to the fact that Real Mario 7 stopped ranting and going on huge, writing sprees for extended periods of time. And so now that he's finished with that, I can do this without having any more rants coming in that I have to add on. Alright, let's just get right into it. I'm simply not going to have people using the exploit. I know that in the last few games you didn't do it because you didn't have to, but I saw you do it a couple of times, and it's good that this current TNT Run community is only dedicated to bluffing for wins to increase the number of wins. I think it's completely disgusting, and I know perfectly well that they do it to increase the number of wins because they can't do anything else and because their egos don't allow them to do anything else but bluff. But I can understand that you can have fun and like to increase a number and not enjoy the game, and yes, but another thing is when you start using the exploit to win a sad game, I can't stand that anymore, and I know you have because I've seen you, and if I have to put up with this current TNT Run community full of toxics and egos and spoiled children to be able to stand that they abuse this exploit of cracking the game so as not to die. If I were a mod at this moment, you would already be banned. Simply that they are very stupid to be using a hack to yawn the double jumps in a Hypixel minigame. That no matter how you look at it, it is an advantage to players who do not have it, and more enzyme that most of those players have insulted me or laughed at me because, according to them, I am very bad, and they laugh at me or insult me when they cannot even play without using mod or advantages. I may be bad, but at least I'm legal and I enjoy playing the game, and I don't play it competitively or to think I'm superior to other players or to farm wins to get a position in a top that gives you nothing in your life. I would be ashamed to use a hack in a Hypixel minigame and then go laughing at other players who supposedly are more bad than you. In principle, I would ban all those who use them, and that's it. XD. It doesn't matter if it is insignificant, it is still an advantage, or even if it is an insignificant advantage in one double jump when you use 4 or 5 double jumps in a row. If there is a difference even up to 1 block minimum difference, and a block up for me can mean winning or losing the game, then even if the difference is very little, it is still an average. I perfectly understand cosmetic things like keystrokes or see the ping or put wings or cosmetic things that make your gaming experience more enjoyable as the texture pack, but for example with the TNT mod, to see how many double jumps the other person has left and have that little boost in the double jumps. I'm lost. Let me find my way. Because that's not right, especially if it is not a competitive game, is very ugly in my opinion, as it is not something cosmetic to make the game look nicer and more fun to play. It does not contribute anything to that, but its only purpose is an advantage, because if I could see how many double jumps the other player has left, I would make very different decisions than if I don't have that. In my opinion, it's very annoying for me to the truth. Lol, the problem is that I want to talk about the TNT Run mod in the forum, and I just need help from some help or mod that knows the topic that knows exactly where to talk about the topic, since I have proofs of why it is a hack. plus my personal arguments, I want to explain very well the topic in a long letter exposing all of the points of view, and obviously I wanted to do it in the forum. The problem is I don't know in which part of the forum I should post it in so that some mod can see it and take it really seriously. I would like the staff to review everything I have to say and decide if it is really a hack or not, and that the staff themselves give me an answer thanks to the arguments and all the evidence I have against the TNTR mod, and obviously according to my evidence and arguments breaks some rules of Hypixel. It would be great to talk to an admin about this topic. The problem is that I do not know if the admin would be interested in talking about this, and I do not want to bother that admin because obviously he has more important things to attend, but it would be great if an admin would see my future posts on this topic. XD. I'm already tired and there's so much left. Good God. Okay, let's keep going. Sorry, my nose is pretty weird right now. According to Modify, he included this option because he has been analyzing the game in tournaments and he has realized a very serious problem that he wanted to solve, and it is the ping issue. He has realized that players with a favorable ping will have advantages when using their double jumps than those who have a bad ping, and I quote Modify in this private chat on Discord. A screenshot will be presented later. I noticed the massive disadvantage which low players had compared to high ping players. I felt that this would ruin the competitive aspect of the game, and with the Walrus Cup coming up, this would not be good. To fix this, I created the boost, and it did exactly what it was supposed to. Low ping players are now able to compete with high ping players, and the gap which existed between them is minimized. The real problem is that Modified doesn't really have any control of who uses the mod. It precisely targets players with bad ping, but he can't know it in every game because he explains that in tournaments it is easy to identify a player with good ping who has it activated because the mod doesn't differentiate if you have good ping or bad ping. The boost to double jump is always the same, but tournaments are a small part of TNTR. This mod is also used in normal TNTR games, and obviously their Modify has no controls of who may be abusing the DJ fix. Simply because the ping in multiplayer games has been a problem in all multiplayer games in the world, always players with good ping will always have an advantage over those who unfortunately have a bad ping. And because, without going to exemplify other game, in Minecraft PvP there is a mod called Reach Mod which serves to increase the distance at which you can start hitting other players. For example, if you can normally hit at 3 blocks away, with the Reach Mod you can adjust this value to be able to hit at 3.5, or give an example. We all know that the issue of ping in Minecraft PvP is very fundamental because a player with 200 MS will not be at the same level as one of 40 MS, because despite having the same ability, due to the difference in ping, the one with 40 MS will always have the advantage. For simply giving an unfair advantage to players who don't have this kind of mods installed, even for those who have good ping, we all know that the Reach mod is considered a hack for modifying the game and making that by having this mod you will have considerable advantages over other players who don't have it. Why DJ Fix is not considered a hack when it is clearly giving an advantage to players who install the TNT Run mod, as I demonstrated in the comparison video showing that DJ Fix gives a clear advantage like the Reach mod in PvP. I think the ping argument doesn't have much validity to justify installing a third-party mod to your Minecraft, plus we can't know who uses mod constantly, and if a person already has good ping uses it, as Modify said, and I quote, "If high ping players use it, then it is easily noticeable and we will usually disqualify it in competitive games. It is essentially the same as a high ping player using a VPN, which is equally frowned upon. Maybe in tournaments it is easily identifiable, but how do we know who's using this mod unfairly? It's impossible to tell." Furthermore, it goes without saying that in the Hypixel rules, it clearly states the mods that cannot otherwise give an unfair advantage in game, and I've clearly demonstrated with my video that the DJ fix does give a clear advantage. In my case, my previous arguments were not convincing enough. The problem is that giving information about double jumps is a clear strategic advantage against players who cannot see this information. To better understand why it is an unfair advantage, first watch this video where I give 3 examples of why it is a strategic advantage, and then I will describe each of the examples to understand why the tab DJ Spy is an advantage. In order to understand these 2 examples, I have to explain that my way of playing is not, as you have seen in these 2 examples, it is not so aggressive, and why in those 2 examples I play in a very aggressive way, simply because I have the advantage of being able to see with DJ Spy the double jumps that these players have. So I am an experienced player. I know perfectly well that if these players have less double jumps than me, I know perfectly well that I can move with the player. I know perfectly I can move with the extra double jumps that I have to their position to try to throw them, because I recognize that they are not very experienced players. And no, I cannot play in such a way without this mod, because it has happened to me before that as I do not have information of how many double jumps the other player has, sometimes I come to think that they do not have many double jumps, or that they have few directly, and I play in that way. I lose many double jumps trying to throw these players, but later in those games I realized that they had a lot of double jumps, and even though I am an experienced player, if I run out of double jumps and they still have them, the other players still have a clear advantage over me, and I have even lost some of these games simply by playing in such an aggressive way when I do not know for sure how many double jumps the other players have. But if I can play in this aggressive way with total security, because thanks to DJ Spy that incorporates the TNT Run mod, if I can see these double jumps and play in a much safer and aggressive way, in other words, I can take other better or more effective strategies thanks to being able to see the double jumps of other players. That video clip is very important because it is taken from a video of a player called Noblies. He is a very experienced TNT Run player who knows how to take advantage of the information to see the double jumps. Now I will explain what makes Noblies different thanks to having the TNT Run DJ Spy mod activated. First we see Noblies see the tab where it is clear that I have 2 double jumps left, and Noblies also has 2 double jumps left. Then moments later, Noblies makes a decision to fall to the floor where I am, with the objective of trying to cut me off so that I can use a double jump and thus have an advantage of 1 double jump, which is shown in the video achieves its goal. Simply because, as I said before, Noblies is an experienced player of TNT Run. I know him, and I know perfectly well that he is a very strategic player. He likes to think before acting. We simply have to understand that the double jumps give you a great mobility around the map, that allow you to reach other blocks further away to which you will not be able to reach with a normal jump. And the more double jumps you have, the further you can get with these. Having explained that, Noblies knows that if two players have the same amount of double jumps, for example, 2 double jumps, if you manage to remove a double jump to your opponent, either by cutting the way or that the other player makes a mistake and has to do it, you have a clear advantage over the other player because you have 2 double jumps and the other 1, and that gives you the opportunity to reach farther places where there may be more blocks to support you, and with that you have more advantage, you have more chances to win the game. Noblies knows this all perfectly well. He knows that if he manages to get 1 double jump, he will have a clear advantage over me, so he can be playing me more aggressive because he knows because he has more double jumps, or simply he can get to places where I cannot reach. Noblies, at that time before launching himself to where I was, everything I just explained he already knew because he is so experienced. So what is the problem? The problem is that he knows perfectly well that I have 2 double jumps, and in the position where I was, it was easy to cut me off and make me spend 1 double jump, so he has a clear advantage. He knows all this because he has the DJ spot activated and he can see how many double jumps are left, and that is why he plays so safe and aggressive, because he knows that if he does that strategy, he has the advantage. But what would have happened if he had not had the DJ spy? Most probably what would have happened, and speaking in my experience, in that position where Noblies was, he already had the advantage because of the amount of blocks he had. So the safest thing Noblies would have done is simply play very passively, try to consume the least amount of blocks, and move to other areas of the map where there are more blocks to avoid using his double jumps, and thus maximize his advantage because of the position he was in. If Noblies let time pass, the more time passed, he had more chances to win because he knew that I was already on the last floor, and he knows perfectly well that I would not have too many double jumps left for me to be a big problem for him. So the most logical thing that Noblies would have done in that situation would have been to simply wait for the time to pass, consume the least amount of blocks possible, and win that way. That's what would have happened. But why Noblies would play so passive? Simply because he doesn't know how many double jumps I have. And even if I had 3 double jumps left, what if I had 4? What if I had 4 double jumps left? Noblies could not have really known that, and Noblies knows perfectly well that at that moment he knows that he only has 2 double jumps left, and simply why risk trying to throw me at that moment when if he would throw me, I could have more double jumps than him and win. The safest way to have won that game is simply by playing to consume the least amount of blocks possible and win that way, since Noblies clearly knows that he has the advantage due to the amount of ground he has. If Noblies would not have had DJ Spy, he would not have had that different strategy, but thanks to the DJ Spy, he simply had the possibility to use that aggressive strategy because he knew that if he did it, he would surely end up with an advantage because he knew he could cut me off. He knew perfectly well that when he cut me off, he would force me to spend a double jump, and since he knew that we both had 2 double jumps, he would have the complete advantage of the game and would have much more probabilities of winning the game. That's really the point. That's really what I want to imply, why DJ Spy is a very big advantage to make different decisions throughout the game. It opens new strategies, and you play in a much safer way because you know perfectly how many double jumps your opponent has. Where am I? Thing that if you couldn't see the double jumps of your opponent, you would have to play with the uncertainty of not knowing how much advantage you have over your opponent or how much advantage your opponent has over you. And the only thing you have to do in a situation like in example 3 is just pray and wait for your opponent to run out of double jumps and fall fast. But if you know your opponent's double jumps, you can take other strategies in a safer way, like the one seen in example 3 by Noblies. And I hope you have been able to understand my argument why DJ Spy is a clear advantage. If you have it, and if you know how to take advantage of that information, because it is a game information that Hypixel does not give you, or at least I've not found where it is the option to see the double jumps of your rivals without DJ Spy. I hope with this argument I have demonstrated that it is a clear advantage and that DJ Spy is breaking a rule of Hypixel. Please, I don't want you to think that because I take Noblies out in this example, I get along with him badly or something like that. It's the opposite. I feel like I get along very well with Noblies, and all this is not against him at all. I just had this example where I clearly demonstrated my point, and also he did it against me. I feel there is no better example to show that DJ Spy is an advantage. Please don't misinterpret this example against Noblies, please. We both get along very well, and it's nothing against him. Please don't take it out of context, please. With everything I've just wrote above, it's been proven that DJ Fix and DJ Spy that are built into TNT Run mod are illegal. Therefore, the TNT Run mod is an illegal mod for Hypixel because it has two of its add-ons that break Hypixel rules. I'm not saying that the whole mod is wrong. It's just that those two add-ons that violate the rules of Hypixel. But for example, you can see your complete statistics of TNT Run and even the statistics of others. Or for example, during the game to see how many victories as a person, or with an option where you can add the maps you like and do not like, so that the mod will automatically skip the maps you do not like. And among other cosmetic items, I feel like the mod in the cosmetic section is fine, but unfortunately Modify added the DJ Fix and DJ Spy that make this mod an illegal mod for Hypixel. I would like Modify to rethink in future updates of this mod, remove DJ Fix and DJ Spy from their mods so that this very good cosmetic mod is illegal to have inside Hypixel. And if that happens, there's no doubt that I would use it. I would like to see my favorite game being played in the fairest way possible without falling into mods that add advantages or strange clients or anything external that would give a significant advantage in the game. And with the ping issue, there is nothing that can be done with it. There's nothing that can be done. This is so, and I say it myself, and I also suffer from ping. But it does not seem fair to have the DJ Fix activated when I have the advantage over other players who have my same ping and are not using this advantage. I would simply like that the users of this mod wouldn't use it anymore until Modify modifies the mod to become a fair mod and meet the Hypixel rules. And I'm not saying that they stop using the mod in a hateful way or something like that, but in the future, to avoid a sanction by the Hypixel team, if this mod is taken seriously and the TNT Run mod is added to the anti-cheat so it detects it automatically and put you a sanction for having it on. I have read that I want to ban the whole TNT Run community, and that is not true. I only want to ban cheaters who use perks knowing that they are having an advantage over the rest of the players. But if you no longer use the TNT Run mod thanks to this post until it is modified, I am very glad. If you keep doing it, you risk a sanction by the Hypixel team, and if so, I hope you get your corresponding sanction for having an advantage over the rest of the players. But if you no longer use it for having an event, now imagine that I play PvP with 300 ping in some server. Is it justified that I install reach and autoclick to match the fighting style of 30 ms? because in PvP servers, autoclick and reach are banned, but in TNT Run there's a mod that adds a boost to double jumps because a player with my same ping has advantages over me just for using that mod with the same excuse of ping, because the DJ fix is seen well, but the autoclick and reach not if I use them to dampen the ping in PvP. Ha 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 ha. When I use slow, he says I use it to provoke people. XDDDDDD. I shoot slow because I like to shoot slow. XDDDD. Don't reflect on me, please. I've said it many times. I shoot slow for the simple reason that it's fun to try to target people with the position, and also to take some advantages of people who know how to play. Many people shoot slow, and I don't cry like you do. I love it because they think I throw slow because I hate them, or because I don't like them, or things like that, but that is not so. I just throw it because I like it, and if there's a good player in the game, I will throw it to that player who's the most dangerous, and I will have the advantage of him. I love it, and I laugh a lot with you because you are going to make the game competitive and complain when I throw slow to take advantage of them for competition. XDDDDDD. I love it because I throw slow, and they are already crying and saying that because I throw slow, they have right to insult me because I'm annoying and stuff like that. But when they cut someone's path and they throw it, that's perfect, that's alright. They are not crying because they are doing focus trying to cut the path, that's fine. But if I throw slow and they are already crying for a week with this slow XDDD so much that they want to play the TNT Run community competitively, then suck it up and learn to use slow 2xDDDD. But when I published my post, I was still talking to Super Normal and Chill on Discord, making jokes and such because I liked him, and that I did the mod, and that does not mean that as a person I disliked him. One thing that does have to harm the other, but after having insulted Mr. Neuropian in my post where Neuro simply gave his opinion, Modify put words in Mr. Neuropian's mouth that Neuro would never said, and started to insult him and call him like he was a cloud of ego and things like that, and it was like, Modify, you're an asshole, and that's why I don't like him now, but the mod has nothing to do with it. I have every right to call them crybabies because if they wrote to me in private in a polite way not to throw them slow, I simply did not throw them, and that's it. But when I did it, they only started to insult me and cry in party chat because of my slow, and it made me very angry because the more they insulted me, the more I threw them. It was as simple as telling me in private, Mario, it bothers me that you throw slow and I cannot play quiet. Could you not throw me slow? I would appreciate it. If he would have told me something like that, I would have no problem to stop throwing slow, but I only received the insults, and that way no way I can stop throwing slow, and I have every right to call them crybabies for something they also can throw at me because they can also throw slow. But the TNT Run mod, I will not install it, so I have every right to cry for the TNT Run mod. And the slow positions also improve the competitive aspect of the game because you can take away your opponent's potential, so I'll keep using the slow 2xD. Oh my god. It's so long. It doesn't need to be this long. It is ridiculous that they accept a mod with the moralistic excuse of the ping, but as the slow, it is not accepted morally by the community. Anyone who uses it already earns the most hatred and insults of all. It is ridiculous hypocrisy, and more when they say we must return TNG more competitive, and the mod makes it possible. The slow is also used competitively. I would use it for that purpose, but as it is something annoying the slow because the situation is ridiculous. Even though I do not like the mod, I do not go around insulting in the game to those who use it because everyone plays and he wants, even though it bothers me to see that every one of my game, if you are using it, I stay quiet and next game, but I throw them slow and comes the horde of hate. Ridiculous. That's a nice sentence. Oh my god. It's just so long. It's just unbearably long to read. Where am I? Here I am. That's exactly what I'm saying, XD. I've talked to several mods about it, and the only thing you tell me is that it's at your own risk to install mods that are questionable. They are literally telling me that they are at risk of being banned for using a strange mod, and I'm not tired of saying remove the mod. They are at risk of being banned. I say it in my post, in fact, and it seems that no one has read that message, but you literally took the words out of my mouth. Exactly what I think you just said. That is a mod that does not mean it is something positive. The Teen Huron mod is accepted simply by cheap moralism. That does not make it positive. Slow potions are annoying, but they are part of the game. If you do not like, complain to the admins. And Ready as well as once removed the power to throw the players with the right click. Many did not like a vote was done and was removed. If bothers you so much, slow do that, but this is in the game. The Teen Huron mod is an extra click to the game. It is something attached. It is not comparable at all because I complain about an add-on and you complain about something that is in the game, but as TNT mod is socially accepted, it is good, but as the pots are socially badly accepted, everyone to insult who uses them. If they remove the slow, they should also remove the speed, because neither it is a pot. I don't know where I am. I think I'm here. Nor do I go around crying about speed because I can use it too. It's just not my decision. It bothers me and I don't use it, but that's not why I'm going to insult others who use speed. It's ridiculous just to think about it. Oh my god. How long is this? Oh my god, it goes all the way to the bottom. Oh no. Okay. In fact, toggle sprint was a hack in versions prior to 1.7, but with the release of 1.7 and its auto sprint simply over time ceased to be considered a hack and simply, I don't know, that as a convenience, a mod that influences both when playing TNT Run mod. It is very different from the toggle sprint because the toggle sprint, you do not increase the speed considerably in PvP, but the TNT Run mod, that I without the mod cannot jump a floor of the map F, but with the mod if it is ridiculous, there is a big difference between these two mods. The only unfair thing about the Lunar client is the F5 in Bed Wars or Sky Wars. But it is not so bad either. There is a big difference when the F5 of a Lunar client is being able to see the double jumps of the other players and an insane boost to in the double jumps. In Fortnite, it costs more to build for having more ping. In Fortnite, those with low ping are immoral. In Fortnite, a mod has been created so that players with bad ping can build up like players with good ping. No. If I write a Bible, it is because I have a lot to talk about on the subject. If I write it in 2 sentences, I do not have time to explain everything I want to explain about that comment, which I am responding. I mean, that delay can mean that they give you a shot or not, or build faster in a situation or with delay. That was exactly what I meant, XD. If you look at it in a very competitive way, if it is a disadvantage, or in the LOL, for example, having ping in the LOL of 100 ms can mean that you cannot discover a skill or throw your skill and that of correctly. On the other hand, when in the when in the LOL they have a Circano ping to 0, it is easier to give skills move. In the LOL, it does not affect ping. That's why the tournaments are sought to be done in a precise way, so that all players have the same possibilities. I love it because this is the quality of people who defend the TNT mod. People so ignorant, so easy to manipulate, that the only thing they do is promote hatred and toxicity. It is no coincidence that those who defend this mod are very toxic. But before I say that comment, there were many people writing hate messages against me and insulting me, messages to which you gave them, or reacted that way. You in a game of TNT Run told me L just because I threw you slow when I had never insulted you before, and you go insulting first, you go fomenting hatred against me, giving to those comments, and now you are offended just because I said that. Pathetic. Okay. This next part is translated from English, from Spanish to English, so it's probably not completely right. Not like the other 3,000 sentences were right. Yes, you will see how they respect me when I shoot slow. You will already see how the respect chat is filled in the PPP. You see how many respectful messages they send me on the subject of slow all the time, because Modify deleted me from the list of friends for Throw It Slow, and I uploaded the catch with a crying music, and they put the theme of the mod here. My plan was to make that joke, and that's it. But I'm not going to keep quiet if they are insulting me because I shoot slow, when I have to say quiet when they use TNT Run mod in my games, or they throw speed. I have to keep quiet against them, but they can insult me all they want in the Discord chat and in the game. Is that fair? I am only defending myself. I do not insult in the games who I know is using the TNT Run mod, but when I refer to the subject many times, I have made memes with the subject of the mod, since it seems like a good discussion, but I do not try to insult anyone, and I also try to take it as a meme. But when the others use speed, I keep quiet. Even though I don't like speed, I keep quiet and continue playing, but I use slow, and an horde of insults comes against me for asking for ban and things like that. I'm not gonna keep quiet when there are many things that annoy me in this community and I keep quiet, but I do something against the community like slow and it starts insulting me, and moreover I have to stay reserved. You think that is fair? You translate it because I use the translator, and you gave me so much that it won't let me translate more for a while. Better translate it in that translator, haha XD. It's just a wall of text. Jesus fucking Christ. You are stupid if you think that about me. It is because it is what you do. I always try to play in the fairest way possible, and I do not take advantage of the bugs that TNT1 has to win games. I have always been the first to complain about these bugs. I try not to use them because it is unfair to use them, so shut your mouth because you don't know me at all, and you are only reflecting on me what I would do because you would. What you don't understand is that no one understands is that I knew about the TNT1 mod. I knew about it. I just modified it since you uploaded it. I already knew about it, and then a short time later I found out about the DJ Spy and the DJ Fix, and when I knew it, obviously I did not like it because from that moment I have the opinion that it is a hack. For a long time, but nobody knew my opinion on the subject because I did not dedicate myself to insult during this time. Who had it? At no time did I say something related to the mod to people that I knew perfectly well that they had it installed. When I saw someone in my game that had this mod, simply at the end of the game put GG and ready next game, it did not say nothing. He did not talk about the subject, even though I internally thought the person was using a hack. I just kept quiet and ready. I did not say anything to anyone. I did not insult anyone for having the mod. And nothing. And even I played with Noblies knowing that he used it. When he recorded, we showed the video of the acid shader. I already knew that he had it installed, and somehow I only in those games just wanted to have fun, and despite the fact that Noblies had the mod, I never said anything to him, and he was always my friend, and I never hated him or had no negative feelings against him for using the mod, because the mod is super irrelevant to me in a friendship. And I say all this because when I put my post, I was simply giving my opinion with some evidence and arguments why it seemed to me that it was a hack, and I just said that the DJ Fix and the DJ Spy seemed to me hack because of the arguments I gave in that post. But from the rest of the mod, I said that the aesthetic things were really good, some commands and everything. The only thing I did not like was those two sections of the mod. Except for those two sections, the mod seemed very good. I simply gave my opinion on the subject. No, it's so long. Oh my god. And on the basis of that in the Discord, I was silenced by many insults, even without them reading my post. Some told me things in a respectful way, and others directly insulted me. What I am going with all this is that I've been knowing about the mod for the past year, and I didn't say anything to anyone because I respected it. I respected if they used it or not, as well as today I respect if someone uses it. But in my way of thinking, he is a cheating player. I always thought about it. Only now I say publicly. But in games, when I currently know that I am playing against players who have the mod, I do not say anything even in DPI. What? Where am I? Because there are many people who use it. I do not say anything simply because it does not seem irrelevant to me. And if the other person uses it, you are using it at your own risk. And now, what bothers me deeply is that I use slow and everyone comes to insult me at the slightest when I use slow. It just repeats this so much, the slowness argument. And it makes me very argument because I spend a lot of time, and I know, and I keep quiet about the TNT mod, and I did not say anything to anyone, even knowing that I used it. I never insulted anyone or told anyone for using it, and even Noblies, I really liked him even though he used it, and even me. It's so long. Oh my god. It doesn't end. It really doesn't end. Oh my god. I think I'm below this. No. Here I am. I overflowed to modify from my ignore list, and I added it myself when I saw him playing, when by Discord he wrote to me asking me to unlock it and to add it, and I did not, and I did it despite the fact that I have known for a long time that he is the creator of the mod. I did not. I am angry with nobody because they use it. I am not even annoyed with the creator of the mod for creating the mod. I am annoyed with them when I use slow. Insults of all kinds rain down on me. I have even seen comments. I have even seen comments calling me a sexual predator and insinuations that I hate gays simply because I use slow. And I have an opposite opinion to the TNT community. It bothers me deeply that when I use something that goes against what is accepted in the TNT community as slow, automatically it rains me insultos everywhere. As I said before, if only you would have written me something like, Mario, could you stop me from shooting slow? It is that it bothers me and I don't like it. If you would stop doing it, I would appreciate it. If only... Is this where I am? I feel like I've... Yeah, I think that... I'm looking. I can't really find it. I think this is where I am, for real. Okay, whoever uses slow and isn't... I was further down, wasn't I? I've never said anything to anyone about the mod until my publication. Many have dedicated themselves to saying that I deserve the insults simply because I shoot them slow, and others are dedicated to saying that I hate them and that is why I shoot slow, and none of that is true. If you read my comments during the day, it is about that, to defend myself against the insults that fall on me for slow, and simply what compared to the mod in reference to that. If you use it, I insult in games, nor do I tell you anything for using it. Simply what compared to the mod in reference to that. If I just think you are a cheater, and if I shoot slow, they don't like it. They start insulting me and even shouting insults of all kinds in the PPP to ask to be banned from the party. I understand that it bothers them, but in game I never and insulted anyone for using the mod or for using speed, since I've been saying all this time that I do not like speed at all, and I have never dedicated myself to insulting people who use speed. Even when you tell me in a previous message that you don't have to spend months discussing the same topic for months, because I already stopped doing it. That's why I stopped responding in my posts, because I was tired of the subject, and the only thing that the conversation has been about all day is that I have been defending myself from all those who insult me for slow, from all those who think that I hate those who shoot slow, and clarified many things that I only strategically slow down players who are a threat in my game. Why not do it? I have been saying all this time that the excuse they have for using the mod is that it makes the game more competitive, and slow doesn't. I use it competitively to take advantage of those of who I think may be a threat in the game. Is that wrong? If they want to make this game competitive themselves, that's why that I pull slow in that competitive way is wrong. But if it is okay that the mod is used competitively, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense, and that's like this sentence I just read does not make any sense. That doesn't make sense, and that's what I've been trying to explain all this time. That's why I compare it to this mod, and I'm not upset for anyone who uses the mod. I'm upset with the people who have instigated me and treated me badly simply for having a different opinion and for using slow. With those people, I am angry, but I am not angry with nobody for using the mod. Just okay. Onwards. Nobody for using the mod. I am annoyed with Modify for other reasons other than the mod, but before having those problems with it, I myself added it to my friends list. I don't know what I've been trying to say all day is that I don't have it makes sense that they feel they have the right to insult me for simply throwing slow. That's not right, and I have never done it. Like, since they added slow, that in almost all my games I fall slow, and the only thing I can do is simply throw me speed to counteract it, and that's it. And I keep quiet because slow is a part of the TNT run now, because it is implemented in the game, and it is not the same that I cannot complain about the mod because the community accepts it. They are two very different things, and that this is what I've been explaining all this time. If slow bothers you so much, go for speed, and that's it. Nothing happens, and if it bothers you so much, why not have written to me in a polite way? I have not anyone who has written me in a polite way that I do not throw slow. It is always accompanied with insults and things like that, and with insults I will never stop throwing slow, and even with insults they urge me to focus on them with a slow. And it all started with Modify deleted me from the list of friends for slowing him after he insulted me for that, and I simply uploaded the screenshots with a music of a child crying with auto-tune, because it is what it is, crying like that for something that is within the game. It does not make any sense. That is where I go. I cannot say anything about the TNT Run mod, but they can cry and insult me all they want for using the slow. That is not fair. That is what I'm trying to say. All this conversation has nothing to do with the TNT Run mod itself. If not, that I've used the example of the TNT Run mod simply to defend myself from the insults that fall to me due to slow. I simply say that the TNT Run mod, I consider it a cheat, and that I have to keep quiet, but they are bothered to use the slow simply because it's not part of the game for a long time, and they have every right to insult me for a chance that I have to stop using it simply because they don't like others and they insult me. That makes no sense, and it is not fair. It is not fair that I am using something that has been implemented by Hypixel for a long time in the game, and since it is morally wrong to use slow, they automatically believe that they have the right to insult me. But as the TNT Run mod is, I accept that it is not part of the game. I have to keep quiet about that because it goes against the community, so things do not work for me. I feel that it is unfair that something that is in the game falls so much hatred, but when someone does a mod, what the heck? If we compare the two individuals who have the same ping, the one with the mod has an advantage, and that is a trap that nobody sees, that nobody cares why, because it is morally accepted by the community and everyone applauds the mod it is used. But the slow it takes in the game and is legal, you have too bad. Okay. I know when I have been in DPI and they have said that the slow is prohibited, I have stopped shooting against players who do not have insulted me for the slow in the game. The only thing I do is focus on the players that they insulted me for slowing him down, and what I do is just take it out on those players for having to insult them. So then there are many who say Mario is doing a spotlight on me because that's the reason that I am a user of the mod. Are you stupid or what? I had to install the client to demonstrate that I had to demonstrate. I just put it on at the time. Also, how am I going to criticize something that I really do not know or that I have not experienced on my own? Pathetic as you look for anything to discredit everything I say when you do not have enough arguments to reboot my actions. I mean, yeah, that's kind of true. You have so many. You just your sheer number of arguments is completely just overwhelming that no one's gonna defeat them. There's just too much words. Yeah, you can't argue with something this long. It's not that it's inarguable. That you have to fall into trying to discredit me by saying that I have the mod in the video. Shut up. This is a joke. What a mature comment, Pipey, huh? And I am the immature, ha 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 ha. Look at how he has no arguments and is dedicated to insult. Typical. At the moment in which you have no arguments and you dedicate yourself to insult me and take everything out of context, and one, do not worry, keep insulting, that the more you insult me for this reason, the more you give me the reason. Stuck out tongue. XDDDDDD. Sorry, I'm sorry for this. I had to. It was funny. Okay. Oh wow, there's almost close to a page left. But if that is the truth, you admitted it yourself. You were insulting me simply because you felt attacked, and as I was not part of the community, it was very easy to attack me and send me a hatred. What you did, it really is that I think you are very careful and toxic, that at the slightest insults, with much more serious insults, I think you are manipulated because you only repeat what others say. I will not apologize for telling you the truth of who you are. Explain to me with 170 ms why I can't jump up a layer on map F with a mod. Yes. If I am supposed to have a favorable ping, shouldn't I have an advantage? Also, you say that because surely you do not know how to use double jumps, as much as you think. If you would use them better, maybe you would realize otherwise. I would have 0 ping, and I would have 0 ping to be able to play well if having 300 ms can be an advantage, but the advantage you would have automatically loses it when using 2 more double jumps. When using 2 double jumps plus the one with 0 ping wins. Learn to use double jumps. Oh yeah, that was said to me. Nice. Okay, you won. 300 ms is better for Tintion, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to use mods that modify the game, and before it was different. If you had 0 ping, it was better. I realized that lately that has changed. Then having 300 is better for double jumps, but that does not change anything. You do not have to use hack. Yes, I realize, at least at that point, if you are right and I was wrong because I took the double jumps from here and not the ones from now, since I thought they had not changed. I saw Dragon Fighter 5 go up like a rocket or Washi. They both had good pinging, and going up with those double jumps was an incredible advantage. I did not know that had changed, and the 300 ms ping now have an advantage. Where am I? Before, I had no advantage because of the low ping. It was not the opposite. So in that, if you are right, and I apologize if I call you ignorant in the past, since I was basing myself on the past of Tianqian to affirm that, thinking that nothing had changed. Now things are different, and those of 300 ms if it has an advantage, but in the end it does not matter. There's no sense of putting hack to dampen this. Even so, the DJ fix is not fair. Even so, the ping issue is not enough excuse to install a mod that modifies this. Okay. So this part was said by an alt of realmario7. This is hard. This is really hard. Like, much harder than you think. Okay. Nobody for using the mod. I'm annoyed with modify for reasons other than the mod, but for having those problems with it, I myself added it to my friends list. I don't know. What I've been trying to say all day is that it makes sense that they feel they have the right to insult me simply for shooting slow. That's not right, and I've never done it. Since they added slow, that in almost all of my games I get slow, and the only thing I do is simply throw me speed to counteract it, and voila, and I keep quiet because slow is part of the TNT run now, because it is implemented in the game and it's not the same, and I cannot complain about the mod because the community accepts it. There are two different things that this is what I've been explaining all the time. If slow bothers you so much, go for speed and that's it. Nothing happens. And if it bothers you so much, why not have written me in a polite way? I would not avid anyone who has written me in a polite way that I do not throw this slow. It is always accompanied with insults and things like that. And with insults, I will never stop throwing slow. Even with insults, they urge me to focus on them with a slow. And it all started because Modify deleted me from the list of friends for slowing him down after he insulted me for that, and simply uploaded the screenshots with the music of a child crying with autotune, because it is what it is. Crying like that for something that is within the game, it doesn't make any sense. They can cry and insult me all they want for the slow. That's not fair. That's what I'm trying to say. All this conversation has nothing to do with the TNT mod itself. If not that, I have used the example of the TNT mod simply to defend myself from the insults that fall on me due to the slow. I simply say that the TNT mod, I consider it a trap, and I have to keep quiet, but they are bothered by the slow that has been part of the game for so long, and they have every right to insult me for a change I have stopped using it simply because they do not like others and they insult me. That makes no sense, and it is not fair. It is not fair that I am using something that has been implemented by Hypesicle for such a long time, and as it is morally wrong to use slow, they automatically believe that they have the right to insult me, and the TNT Run mod I accept that as a part of the game. I have to keep quiet about that because it goes against the community, so things do not work for me. I feel it is unfair that something that is in the game falls so much hatred, but when someone makes a mod which is a hack, if we compare with two individuals who have the same ping, the one with the mod has the advantage, and that is a trap because no one sees that, no one cares. Why? Because it is morally accepted by the community, and everyone applauds that the mod is used with the slow that it takes in the game, and it's legal. You have too bad. I know when I have been in DPI and they have said that the slow is prohibited, I have stopped shooting slow against players who have not insulted me for using for the slow in the game. The only thing I do is focus on the players that if they throw slow for simply insulting me and taking revenge on those players without having to insult them. So then there are many who say Mario is making a focus on me because that is the reason. Oh my god. First, the mod is super badly done. The modify solution is pathetic and meaningless. The correct way to make a fair mod is to go to the root of the problem. What is the root? Simple. If you have bad ping, a fly is activated for a period of time as long as you have ping. If you have 40 ms, you will have a fly of 40 milliseconds. If you have 300 ms, you have a fly of 300 milliseconds. That is the real problem, and the best way to make TNT Run fair is to create a mod that prevents players from using the advantage of the fly. That fly for 500 ms after those 500 milliseconds by blocking their spacebar. Minecraft detects the spacebar again to continue jumping with following double jumps. That's the right thing. That would be the perfect mod that would return the TNT Run a very fair game where the ping issue will not affect. It is something that I have been testing for 2 weeks, and if there was a mod that did, it would be the perfect mod. That is the solution. Do not make a mod that increases double jumps. If not, run root the main problem. And I would also add it as a marker to in the tab to identify those who have this mod installed and those who do not, simply similar to the letter of the Lunar client and the Badlion client. That is the perfect solution, but the community of TNT Run is stupid and I don't listen. Okay. I can go to the bottom of I can go to the bottom. I can go to the bottom finally. Yes. Okay. If you want proof that it is a fly and not a boost, here's the proof. Here I had dropped the internet and I just used a double jump, and since you do not have internet, only the fly is activated. Many of them fill their mouths talking about the more ping you have. Your double jumps have a boost that makes you push them more upwards, but they are so useless that you don't realize that it is a fly of the Hypixel plugging that occurs before the real double jump is activated. If you want more proof that it is a fly, here it is. That is the problem. That is the real problem. That disgusting fly happens when you have bad ping, and that is the root problem of the problem that is the root of the problem that needs to be solved. You can nip at the root, but the best solution that came with those useless is to boost double jumps, and that's if it's hack. But if you can simply count that fly by tiring the spacebar after a double jump is detected or a repetition is followed by the double jump, that would not be a hack but an adjustment, and that is a big difference. That's why I've been saying all this time that it's a hack because there are other better solutions, but they didn't listen to me and they didn't want to listen to me. If it exists and is what I say, because what I say, it is not increasing anything, nor is it inflicting any Hypixel rules, since the only thing it does is block the use of the spacebar when activating the double jump. You are not modifying your Minecraft. If how the spacebar detects this, it would be something similar to toggle sprint, to a very different one. What I propose is not cheating, and DJ Fix becomes a cheat when a player with my same ping as the DJ Fix activated and can jump higher than me simply by having the mod activated. That's why I call it a cheat, because you can have an advantage over a player who's in your self condition. But what I propose is very different, since it would put all those who did not have it, who had it installed, in a very similar condition without modifying any of your Minecraft. Not like the DJ Fix that gave a boost to the double jumps. In fact, you do not need any mod to solve the problem. Why? It is simple. The problem is that if in the second use of the spacebar you leave pressed the spacebar, that's when I fly, that's when the fly is activated. And this is the boost of the double jumps, so annoying and unfair. And you leave pressed the spacebar, that's when the fly is I see. And I say that you don't even need a mod, because if people didn't leave press the spacebar, the boost would not exist and there would be no advantage. You can't prove it yourself that there would be no boost. And why I say this, and why I say that you don't need any activated mod to do this, because Modify and the others boast of trusting community who have a bad ping to not have the DJ Fix activated. If we apply the same trust to Modify and the TNT community, say they have people with bad ping, why don't they trust all TNT users learn not use their fly boosts by simply not leaving their spacebar pressed? If you trust the TNT community so much, this is the best solution of all. And if everyone is as reliable as they say, TNT will not have any advantage or disadvantage, at least for the ping issue. There are more details that affect TNT with the same ping, but that's already unsolvable. XD. Okay. I perfectly understand cosmetic things like keystrokes, or see the ping, or put wings, or cosmetic things that make your gaming experience more enjoyable as a texture pack. But for example, with the TNT mod, to see how many double jumps the other person has left in that little boost in the double jumps, because that's not right, especially if it is not a competitive game, and it's very ugly in my opinion, as it is not something cosmetic to make the game look nicer and more fun to play. It does not contribute anything to that, but its only purpose is an advantage, that because if I could see how many double jumps the other player has left, I would make very different decisions than if I don't have that. In my opinion, it's very annoying for me, the truth. Seeing other people's amount of abilities perks is obvious an unfair advantage for non-users, so it's not allowed. I know these mods are popular within the Teen Sharon community, but it's cheating. It's hard to prove if someone is using it, and it seems Watchdog hasn't been able to pick it up yet, so they get away with it, unfortunately. I'm bored with the subject. I'm still here because I want to answer you in the best possible way. Take as long as you want, haha. I wrote all that text in another place, and I could not correct the spelling mistakes or when I misspelled a word because of the writing quickly. If you want later, when the good translator will have it, will leave it traditional for me, and I change and improve the words that are not understood by writing fast and misspellings. Period. Oh my god. Finally, yes, let's go. Oh my gosh. That was so tough.